and welcome to another how-to session for the MX-5. I'm Michael, welcome to Planet Herring, and we are at Lime Rock Park with the Chicane. This is going to be 2019 of iRacing Season 4, and this is week 9, I believe, that's coming up, and this is where this comes out. So a full disclaimer at this point, I hate this version of Lime Rock. I really do. I've never been fast here. It's just that Chicane throws me for a loop. So we are running the baseline setup. I still haven't been able to find anything where iRacing does anything to that setup. So pretty much fuel levels at 5.3 and everything else is stock, and there's really nothing you can do to this thing to make it any better, any worse. It's just, that's it. It's straight up what it is. So we're going to go ahead and let's run a couple of laps. My fastest in the past has been 101s, and I know for a fact you probably got people out here that have easily broken into the straight up 1 minute mark. I know that in the advanced setup, 56s, 57s, I'm pretty certain you're going to have people that can probably break the 1 minute mark below that in the fixed setup, but not me, and that's not the purpose of this video. This purpose is to help people who, like myself, or just starting out, that really don't know anything about racetracks or cars or how to drive these things. So, just passing on a little bit of knowledge. Not that I don't know how to drive Lime Rock, it's just that this version is horrible. So if you're not familiar with Lime Rock, it's a neat little track, and I believe I don't remember where it's at. I want to say New York, but hey, I don't remember. Could be Pennsylvania. Who knows? But right here is where I'm talking about. Now, normally this is a very nice little uphill, and you go straight up there, and you get a little air sometimes. But no, they go and they put this stupid little chicane that you have to hit just right. Otherwise, you will get hit with a slowdown. But that's not really the worst thing that can happen to you, because if you hit that wrong and you don't get out of it, and even if you do get out of it, you're going to end up spinning and crashing into those barriers, and that's going to be game over. So at any rate, let's go ahead and let's talk about it. So this is the final turn. It's a very short little track. And I usually get up to 5th gear here. You don't want to track too far out. That's another thing that will spin you if it grabs the wheel the wrong way. You're going to get up to 5th. Pretty much right there, hard braking. Get it down to 3rd. Apex the inside, swing out a little bit. Apex the second one is nice double apex. Kind of the reverse of the first corner of, or second corner of Laguna Seca. You might get it to 4th, but you're going to immediately get it down to 3rd here. Hug that inside line, get back on the gas. You want to do this full throttle if you can. This is all full throttle through here, and there we go. So here's what I try to do is slow down, track out to this side, hit downshift, come back in here, immediately come back across, and go through. Now this is going to be in 3rd gear usually. You have to do it as quickly as possible. So this should be back. You'll probably be back into 4th before here. And then final turn, 5th gear. Try to keep inside as much as possible. So I'm going to do this without talking and see where I can come in. And, like I said, I'm shooting for the mid 101s.
That lap was a 107.73.
So hard braking. Slow down just enough to get it to turn. Slinging the wheel across. Obviously going faster than I did before. Coming in here. Slowing down. Trying to hold it nice and clean. Back up to fourth. Nice and tidy through there. Keeping the throttle pegged if at all possible. Same way here. You can keep the throttle. There's a little bit of a lift. So probably going to come in the 102s looking like it here.
That lap time was 101.90.
Oh, look at that. Made it into the 101s. Putting as much steering into this as I possibly can to get it to go. The base setup is not the most nimble. That was a little cleaner.
Sector 2 time is good.
Try not to lose that almost half a second there. And we'll do one more lap, see if we can get any improvement.
That last lap was a 101.48. Sector 3 is 0.05 off your best.
That best would be something I set with low fuel in a completely different session and not really applicable to this point. Still, I think it was the same setup, but
Sector 1 is 0.27, slower than your best.
you see how the car just bounces around all over the place. And
Sector 2 is a 10th off your best.
you really have to chunk it with this setup. And see, now we're way out here. It's really dangerous to stay in it there.
That was a 102.12. That puts you 0.6, slower than your best.
So we're going to try it one more lap. Just absolutely.
0.2 off your best in Sector 1.
Yep, tires are starting to fall off now. Yeah, if you don't take it just right, car gets so unsettled.
Time is quick.
Because the car's right on the edge. Yep, chucked it in right there, and oh, there it goes. Tank slapper. And there you go.
Are you alright, mate?
Just my pride, dude. Just my pride. Okay, so I am not going to go any faster on this track. I can guarantee you, and but let's have a look at it. And I don't think it's my lines that are the problem. So we're going to look at this fast lap. So it's a 101.4. Let's go ahead and get the right view here. So let's do the chase view to start with from the outside. All right, so here's the very beginning. Let's get the lap view out of the way, and let's go ahead and have a look at this thing. So very quickly, okay, plenty of time. So coming in here, looking, there you go, right between the 1 and the 2 is probably the best place to hit your brake marker there. You do need to really get on the brakes. You don't want to brake too late because you're going to end up out here in the grass or in the runoff out here. And if you do even drop a wheel or anything, more than likely it's going to throw you into this grass on the outside. So you really don't want to do that. There's a lot of good battles and outbreaking of people going into turn one. You have to be really careful. It's a good place to take someone out or them to take you out. Real easy to spin. Try to be respectful there. So hard braking, we're going to get down to third gear, kind of go right underneath the middle of the bridge and head in. Pretty much just follow these discolored areas around, swing out a little bit, head for that second apex. Might have to feather the throttle, but pretty much just staying in third gear. Track out to the left, come back to the right, and fast as possible, then try to brake as late as possible there. Don't downshift. Now, some people right in this section right here, just as they're going in here, especially if you get a good run off of the turn two, we'll get up to fourth, and then we'll downshift into three, but only if you make it that far. But basically keep it in tight. You don't want to over push there. That's one of the slowest parts on the track, if not the slowest. And it's one of those places where, you know, there's a lot of different lines through there that I've seen people take, but you mainly want to just get through there, because what you really want is to be to the left over here so you can do this one full throttle, track all the way out to the left. Do that wrong and you will lose time. There's not a lot of time to be made up on this track. So here we go. Here's the problem that I run into with this, and it's simply because I think mainly because of the setup. And I think that's what most people deal with. The default setup is really not suited for this track, in my opinion. Probably one of the worst ones for the MX-5. But essentially, what you're doing is you want to come out kind of wide here. This maybe isn't even wide enough. If anything, I'm probably shooting too far in to do this. But you want to hit the brakes, come out here, and I typically get it down to third going up here. And I probably should just head straight for that. So if you see right here where I'm headed up there, I ought to be probably shooting for that guy and just aiming for it and downshifting. But at the speed you're going, it's really difficult. It takes a lot of practice. But get downshifted, get slowed down, because here's the fun part. If you're here, now let me show you the blimp view. Oh, that's not even the best shot for the blimp view. There, a chopper view? Yeah, there we go. So if you watch going through here, slow motion, you see what happens is you're kind of on this curve, and as long as you stay to the left of the bollards there, you're fine. But that's pretty much what you're shooting for right there. Right there, right there. And I don't know, you're not really flattening it out. It's just a matter of hitting it just right, and trying to do it over and over and over and over again in a race is so difficult. So that's going to be the thing that really is going to be your tricky part with this track, and it's going to throw a lot of people. There's going to be attrition. I've never been in an MX-5 race where there wasn't, especially on this track. And just if you have to slow down, then the problem is if you have somebody that does it a little bit faster, when you slow down, you end up getting hit anyway. So, but as you can see, I'm pretty much taking the apex there, pretty much as close as you can get. So I'm other than just straight up speed through here, I don't know how I can do that any better. Straight up right on the apex there, pull back on the throttle, going through there in third gear. Now, if I could do that with confidence every single time, I might be able to go a little bit faster. But here we go. This is another one, probably just a light feather of the throttle if you can't, but you really want to be full throttle through there. Get it up to fifth, full throttle through here. Keep it tight to that curb. Don't get up on the curbs. That's another thing that can drain speed off this car. And possibly throw you and across the line. So there you go. That is a 101.4. I mean, it looks good, but it's not necessarily the fastest lap. If you get one of those high strength of field races, and you're struggling, that's not going to be a booster for your confidence right there. But this race, Lime Rock for one in the MX5 is always an interesting race anyway. There's usually a lot of mayhem. So let's take a look at that same lap again, but this time we will be in the car. So cockpit view. Go ahead and adjust my field of view so you can see a lot more of the car. And we'll get rid of that lap. So here we go, same thing. 5th gear, right about there, just past the 2, going before the 1. Hard down to 3rd, drive across the little white areas, keep that apex nice and tight. Just kind of feather that throttle a little bit. Sometimes you come off of it and it'll help you turn. Works a lot better when you have good setup. But as you can see, pretty much full throttle through there, shifting up to 4th. And coming down, hitting the brakes, and downshift there. Just kind of letting it cruise, not on the gas too much until I'm sure I've made it through. Watch out for those speed penalties. It will get you for cutting every time. Seems like that would be, I realize I don't want to give you too much room because, people would abuse it, but there you go, not much track out there. And you'll notice one other thing is, especially with that last turn, I've done it, I've seen people do it both ways, but I'm barely getting up to the red on the shift lights there. So getting it up to 5th. I've seen people hold 4th past this. This seems to be the best way for me. That's up to you. Try it both ways. But there you go. That is the Lime Rock with Chicane in the MX5 fixed setup. So that is the key for this how-to, is this is for the fixed setup version of the car. I can do a little bit better in a good setup, absolutely for certain. But the base setup for this car is just a little too loose. Requires you to slow down just a little too much, unless you're just damn lucky. And there are people that have a lot of talent and can do it. There are people that are just damn lucky sometimes and pull off a few good laps, but consistently going through that chicane and trying to get it exactly right time after time after time again, kind of beyond me. Really don't get it sometimes. So hopefully, if you are struggling with this particular series in this particular track configuration, this will help, maybe just a bit. I mean, your key things really are find a spot going up the hill that you can downshift without unsettling the car. And again, you want to get out to the left so you can bring it in. It seems like, most chicanes you want to stay in and you want to just flatten them out. That one's really not one of them, because if you do that, you're having to really come back really hard, and that unsettles the car. So, and honestly, if you try to go straight through it, you're much more likely to get tagged for cutting. And, I feel like they're a little too aggressive with the time penalties on iRacing with this, maybe. And they won't just give you like, a 5-second penalty or a 1-second penalty. They will make you do a stop and go, I believe. So you're pretty much screwed if you don't slow down. Better to give up position, honestly, and try to get it back than get disqualified or have to stop and go. So keep that in mind. Always pay attention to those flags, people, and just try to keep it clean. This series can be bumper cars sometimes. So At any rate, I'm going to go ahead and that's it for my how-to. This is probably going to be my worst how-to ever. Hope you're enjoying the series in general, doing a lot of other content. Definitely did some new stuff this week for the look and feel of the channel, and hopefully that works out good for you. So thanks for watching. You know how to get to my videos really idiotly proof. That is not a word. Huh. youtube.planetherring.com. And you're about to see that once again with the brand new in card. So have a good one. Hey guys, Michael here. Hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, go ahead and click that like button. Click on the Planet Herring logo to subscribe to the channel. Let us know what you think about the video in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching. Hope to see you again soon.